Factors affecting agriculture. Role of physical factors. Actually, there are different factors which affects the agricultural practices throughout the globe. Basically, we can divide the factors affecting agriculture in two groups. One is physical factors and another is socio-economic or cultural factors. Physical factors are the basic factors of agriculture. Without physical factors or physical components, no agricultural practices can be possible in any region. And socio-economic factors are the additional factors for the successful operation of physical factors. So, in these presentation slides, we should discuss different. So, there are four main physical components or factors which can control, which operate the agricultural activities in any region. One is relief, another is soil, another is climate, another is underground water. So, all the physical components or factors which influences the agricultural system can be grouped under these four headings. So, first we should discuss about the relief factors. Before we discuss the physical factors, let us see what are the socio-economic factors on agriculture. Land tenancy, size of holding, labor, capital, that is the investment, mechanization, that is agricultural mechanization, marketing, government policies, and the demand of any demand of any crops in any region. So these are the socio-economic factors. But in today's discussion, we will discuss on the factors of physical component. That is, first one is relief. What are the components of relief? Nature of terrain, topography, altitude, and slope. So here there are two slides or two pictures. One is the tea garden which has been developed above the terrain which are sloping or inclined, and this one is the paddy field which is even topography or plain. So first component of the relief is nature of terrain. Some crops require level fields like rice for storing of water. Some crops require sloping field, that is the tea gardens. Some crops require ups and downs, or there is no such influence of terrain, that is sugarcane. And in some cases, in many cases, or for many crops, terrain is not a factor or not an influential factor. Now, altitude. What is altitude? Altitude is the height of terrain or height of the agricultural land. This is actually counted from the sea level point. So, it is observed throughout the globe above 4,000 meter. There is no such scope of agriculture, or there is no agricultural practice above 4,000 meter height. Low altitude crops, there are some crops which require low height, or height is just above the mid sea level, that is coconut. Some crops require high altitudes like apple. Soil in high altitudes are normally immature or not properly formed. Soil profile is immature. What is the contribution of slope? Windward slope receives rainfall. Normally, if windward slope receives rainfall, there is a scope of agriculture. But leeward side of a hill or mountainous area does not receive any rainfall or receives less rainfall. That is why agriculture is impossible in leeward side. Next component of relief is topography. Naturally, gully topography not favor agriculture, but even topography favors most type of agriculture. Gully topography means the soil of such topography is always prone to erosion. That is actually badland topography. In Chambal Valley of Maharashtra and some other parts of the central India, that is gully erosion is very maximum, very high. That is why irrigation or agricultural practices are not possible, because topsoil is the most important for the fertility of soil and soil nutrients for the agricultural crops. That's not possible where there is maximum gully erosion. Next, climate. There are different components of climate like temperature, sunshine, frost, moisture, drought, snow, and winds. These 7 components of climate influences agricultural practices throughout the globe. First, temperature. Barley, oat, rye, wheat are at daily temperature 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. So these crops require the range of temperature 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. So different types of crops require different types of temperature. There is variation. Tropical crops, coffee, tobacco require high temperature throughout the year, but most of the crops dislike 40 degree or above temperature because they dried up if there is no supply of moisture in the air. Lower temperature also affects the germination of seeds. If temperature is very low, there is not possibility of germination of any type of seeds. 2 to 3 days freezing temperature causes death of crops like rice, sugarcane, jute, cotton, and chilies. These crops not favors the temperature freezing in freezing conditions. The minimum temperature level for crops like rye, that is 2 degrees Celsius. Wheat requires minimum 5 degrees Celsius. Not required actually. Below this temperature they cannot survive. Maize 9 degrees Celsius. Rice 20 degrees Celsius. So for all crops there is a requirement of maximum and minimum range of temperature below or above which no crops can survive or their production rate is hampered. Here is a term, accumulated temperature. Accumulated temperature means total temperature for any crops in his total lifelong period. In the crop's lifelong period, this is the accumulated temperature, total temperature from the beginning of agriculture of any particular crop to the period of harvestation. That is 2000 degrees Celsius for wheat, and for rice it is 3000 to 4000 degrees Celsius. Low temperature influences variously, like potatoes store carbohydrates more rapidly in cool nights. That's why cool night is very essential for the potato cultivation, because the main food material that is stored in potato is the carbohydrate. Cotton, maize, and tobacco required warm nights for better yield. Apples, peaches, mangoes, lychees complete fructification in warm season. Duration of the sunshine affects plant growth, like spring barley ripens in 107 days in southern Sweden, takes only 89 days in Lapland in spite of lower temperature. that is one example for barley that ripens in 107 days in southern Sweden, but it takes only 89 days in Lapland. Though Lapland is the cool country, but in summer season the duration of sunshine is more than Sweden. That's why it requires 89 days. So the crop depends the duration of sunshine. If the duration of sunshine in day is longer, it requires minimum number of days. In polar areas, crop require less days in summer season due to long duration of sunshine. Farmers of Russia, Canada, North Alaska and Greenland take advantage of this. Though these areas are located in polar regions, but duration of sunshine in summer season is maximum. That's why the crops harvested in less duration of times. Sunshine. This one is the flower of sunflower. So it requires direct sunshine. Light plays most crucial role in photosynthesis. Most of the plants which grows by photosynthesis requires sunlight, because only plants can cook foods for the benefit of the entire living organisms, plants and animals all. No animal can prepare food except the green plants. In winter days, crops require more calendar days because of the minimum sunshine. Not temperature only, sunshine is another basic factor. Beyond the temperature it required, it is very useful for the growth of plants. In cloudy areas, cloud cover often reduces the amount of light available. Some crops require high sunshine during harvesting, ripening, and wheat, oats, etc. Cloud coverage prevents production of tobacco, etc. Tea needs protection from sunshine. Frost. Frost restricts the cultivation of crops at higher latitudes and altitudes. Germination, flowering, ripening depends on frost conditions. Equatorial and lowland lacks frost. Frost-free period is progressively shorter with increasing latitudes. Some crops sensitive to frost during maturity, like tomato, potatoes, melon, cucumber. These are these crops cannot ripen if frost hamper their last course of life. For most, germination is delayed in wheat and paddy. Aeroplanes, helicopters are used in developed countries to spread air over the crops. These are possible only in developed countries like Canada, US, etc. Moisture. Plants collect moisture from soil water. Moisture is important for the physiological growth of any plants, but plants not usually collect moisture from the air. They collect from soil water by capillary action of their roots. Maintenance of soil moisture is important. Within wide temperature limit, moisture is more important than any other environmental factor. Excessive amount of soil stunt growth by inadequate supply of oxygen. Heavy rainfall may directly damage plants with interfere flowering. Tobacco wheat stunt growth by rainfall in last stage of their life cycle. Drought. Drought is very dangerous or most evil elements for the growth and the development of agriculture. A few crops can survive in drought, like jowar, bajra, ragi or millet. Soil drought. Soil water shortened by evaporation than the transpiration. That is called soil drought. That is when evaporation exceeds the transpiration. Drought damages the crops when plants inadequately supplied with moisture. Drought can be determined from the annual, seasonal and diurnal distribution of rainfall, its dependability, intensity and the form of precipitation. Kharif crops cannot survive in drought even for short span because the Kharif crops develop or cultivated in rainy season, while Rabi can adjust by simple or short period of drought. Drought-prone areas of the world that is listed here. So in this map it is seen that most of the North African part and Southwest Asia, that is the Arabian Peninsula, is under the drought-full condition, because frequently this region suffers from drought, and the other regions which are located in northern and southern hemisphere, these are actually not immensely populated, so agricultural activities are limited in these areas, so drought cannot hamper the agricultural practices. But this region is mainly crucial for the agricultural practices, and drought hampers the production. Some parts of Afghanistan and Pakistan and a few parts of India, that is Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the Southeast Asian some pockets are sufferer for drought. Now snowfall as constraint. For snowfall in high mountainous region, pastoral nomadism is practiced in hill areas. Occurrence of snow reduces the ground temperature, which hinders germination. Land under snow cannot be prepared for sowing because of soil freezing. Severe snow can destroy corn fields. Melting of snow causes floods affecting all crops, livestock. Certain parasitic fungi find suitable environment under snow cover, make harms for crop seeds. Winds. Direct effects. There are some direct effects of wind and some indirect effects. The direct effects, that breaking plant structure, dislodging of cereals, shattering of seeds and seed heads, and the indirect effects of winds, transport moisture and heat in the air, increased evaporation. So by winds, transportation of moisture and heat in the air, that is increased evaporation. The mistral blowing down in the Rhone Valley in France loses olive, figs, other fruits. Low in India damages sugarcane and fodder crops. Dry wind is helpful for harvesting seasons of wheat, oats. So in most of the cases, wind has a harmful effect on. So most of the cases, wind has a negative impact on agriculture. But some crops require dry winds during harvesting period, like wheat, oat, etc. Now soil. Topsoil of about 15 to 20 centimeters is the natural body on which plants grow. The nature of soil determines the type of agriculture largely, that is soil texture takes major role. Soil types determine its moisture content, percolation of water through it, and moisture budget. Organic matter added into the soil by plants and improves the chemical composition of soil, and thus supplying of plants nutrients become easier. The other roles of soil, that soil temperature helps germination of seeds, growth of plants, absorption of soil water. Effects of soil aeration is large, enhances soil nutrients. Acidity increases, causes manganese, ferrous, aluminium, etc. causes growth of plants. But negative impacts of acidity, that is decreases calcium, magnesium and molybdenum, causes stunted growth of plants. Alkaline soil obstructs water and air through soil, causes less sodium ion. Soil erosion is dangerous for agriculture. These are the mineral elements required by plants. Some are macronutrients, N, P, K, S, and calcium and magnesium, and some are micronutrients, that is iron, chlorine, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, nickel, and molybdenum. So, role of nitrogen is the source of protein, nucleic acids, etc. Phosphorus also, nucleic acids, ATP, phospholipids, etc. Potassium, that is enzyme activation, water balance, ion balance, stomatal opening. Sulfur is very important for protein contents and cyanozymes. Calcium affects the cytoskeleton, membranes and many enzymes, second messenger. Magnesium in chlorophyll required by many enzymes stabilizes ribosomes. Iron is essential in active site of many redox of enzymes and electron carriers, chlorophyll synthesis. Chlorine is photosynthesis and ion balance. Manganese, activation of many enzymes. Boron, possibly carbohydrate transport. Zinc, enzyme activation, oxygen synthesis. Copper, inactive site of many redox enzymes and electron carriers. Nickel is for the activation of one enzyme, and molybdenum, nitrate reduction. So these are the function of plant physiology, some micro and some macronutrients. Now underground water. Underground water provides irrigation facilities during dry season. So if a pumping facility is there, underground water provides irrigation water. Overexploitation results in falling underground tables, deterioration water quality, environmental degradation, rising pumps cost, and lower crop yields. In Africa, only 1% of cultivated land is currently irrigated using groundwater. That is the least amount among the continents. Level of groundwater determines the topsoil moisture and water storing capacity. So these are the facts related to the agriculture with underground. So this much today. Okay, thank you.